Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is Brett Haase from Utopia Solutions. We are talking today about the 9 test automation development principles, and we are talking today about principle number 2, ensure user stakeholder involvement. Good automation can't survive without stakeholder involvement, so it's important to identify who is responsible for what, for both you and your development team and your customer. An advantage of using Agile for test automation development is that it really forces collaboration with stakeholders and opens their eyes. They're going to recognize that test automation, it's not just a tool that gets installed and then bam, suddenly there's magic automation that happens. To get stakeholder involvement right, start your project with a kickoff meeting. And your kickoff meeting should include all stakeholders, all your QA team members, your project managers, you fly them in from Timbuktu or even Effingham. In that meeting, you want to bring a list of deliverables to that meeting with approximate effort level estimates. If you don't have those effort level estimates, you're going to have to hammer those out during that meeting. You want to map out your sprints and deliverables, and you want to get clear agreements on the approach and process and assign ownership. Who owns what? Assign owners to things like your applications and deliverables, but also, very importantly, risks. And then at the end of that meeting, you want to take a survey. You have everybody hold up their one hand, or both hands, I don't know, but one hand, and say 0 through 5 fingers, how confident are you in this plan, in this approach? And anybody that has 3 fingers or less, assuming that 0 fingers is the least confident possible and 5 fingers is the most confident, 3 fingers or less, you want to engage them in that meeting in front of everybody else and ask them why. And you hammer out those issues that they have until you're at an appropriate confidence level for your project. And then, importantly, expect your plan to change. Every sprint's going to be a different experience, but expect your plan to change. Agile is planning to replan and learn from the deltas. Hold a retrospective at the end of your project, but if you can also hold those at the end of each sprint, I would recommend that. Learn from your deltas. I've seen a framework implemented for a company where the stakeholders were in one department and the rollout in that department went great, but not enough collaboration happened in the other departments in that company. So needless to say, because of a lack of stakeholder involvement, rolling it out to that second department was much more painful than it needed to be. And that was because of unrealistic expectations because of unengaged or underengaged stakeholders. So ensure that you've got stakeholder involvement. Great to start that off with a kickoff meeting and hold retros at the end of each sprint and then at the end of your project. And make sure everybody you're rolling your project out to is engaged from the get-go, not as an after effect. Thank you for joining us. This is Brett Haase with Utopia Solutions, talking about Agile test automation development principles. Stay tuned for our next segment where we are talking about principle number 3, establishing processes for handling defects and issues. See you next time.